当我们走在城市的道路上，看到高楼大厦、各种建筑物，随着我们视线的角度变化而变化，呈现出各个不同的体、面、块的关系。这是我们观察事物最通常的方式。这不是固定在一个物体正前面的一点透视，而是可以旋转角度的去观察物体。这时，我们可以用2点甚至3点透视去看世界。
两点透视一个概念是什么呢？我们可以看一下，哎，两点透视是长这个样子的，它是这么看世界的一个方法啊。首先，它有2个消失点 ，it has 2 vanishing point. Okay, the keywords come back, but it has 2 vanishing point. Point 啊，2个消失点 ，but the 2 vanishing point, both of them on the same horizon line， 在一个视平线上。我们的视平线是不是还是很重要啊？对不对？在一个视平线上有2个消失点啊，在一个视平线上我们有2个消失点，好吧？这点记住啊。在一点透视里面是在同一个视平线上，我们有1个消失点，而且这个消失点基本是在视平线的中间，对不对？因为我们眼睛是往前看的嘛，对吧？我们眼睛的视点往前正看那个方向就是我们的消失点，但它有1个啊。但是在2点透视里面，它分成了2个，它变成了2个消失点啊。好，它的有什么特点呢？它的 feature 是什么呢？就 the object has a group of vertical lines parallel to the pictures. The other 2 groups of lines are at a certain angle at the pictures, and each group has a vanishing point. A total of 2 vanishing point called two-point perspective. 就是物体有一组垂直线与画面平行。什么叫与画面平行啊？就是这组垂直线。大家看到这个 cube，say this cube。OK，this is 这叫垂直线，对不对？这叫垂直线叫 vertical line， 对不对 ？vertical line 垂直线啊，它的垂直的线，这几条垂直的线是与画面平行的。我们的画面就这样的，对不对？我们画面就这样的，它与平行的。那其他这些线是不是就与画面不平行了呀？对吧？它是斜线，对吗？我们很清楚它是斜线，而这些是直线。它有没有平行于这个画面的线啊？没有，这是视平线，对不对？你能发现一根同样的这种平行的线，这种 horizontal line，horizontal line，这个cube 里面有吗？没有的，对不对？只有垂直的线是跟画面的，你看我们画面的边缘也是垂直的，对不对？那么是跟它是平行的。So the only these vertical lines parallel with the paper 所以在这种情况底下呢，其他的2组线均与画面成一定角度，也就是成一定角度是什么？就是斜线，对不对？就不跟它平行，是斜线。而每一组有1个消失点你看这组消失点，这组斜线消失在这个位置，这组斜线消失在这个位置，对吗？而这个方向它是不是有3个面呀？Okay, we say this cube, it has 3 sides. Is it? It's one side face here, and all the lines going to this vanishing point. And this side face here, and all these lines goes to this vanishing point. But this side, you can just see these 2 vertical lines is parallel with this paper. 能理解吧？所以呢，当我们看到2点透视的时候呢，在这个图里面最直观的 we can say directly this edges face us， 我们可以看到这一个边冲着我们，这个边冲着我们 face us is very clearly， 是非常清晰的，对不对？1点透视它是一个面冲着我们，对吗？那么 两点透视里面就是这个边是冲着我们的啊。那两点透视的画面呢，比较自由活泼，有真实的反应空间，对不对？我们平常看到刚才咱们看到那个 video 里面，是不是就是咱们平常在马路上看到一个场景啊，对吧？It's real space, it's real life 啊in the world，就我们看到是生活中实际上就是这样子。它呢可以反映建筑物的正侧两面，比较容易体现出体积感啊。It can present the volume of the building of anything, a box or something looks like this 啊。好，我们首先对这个概念我们做了一定的了解啊，然后确认同样还是那两个 keywords。We also have two keywords 啊，the horizon line and vanishing point。我们有这么两个概念还是清晰的啊，但是two vanishing point 了啊。然后呢，再一个we should remember these two keywords. Also, we should remember is when we observe an object, when the edges of the object face us, is we can say it 2-point perspective. 有一个边冲着我们的时候，我们就可以称它为两点透视啊。好，我们再看一下啊，这是在我们的什么？这个线是什么 ？horizon line，对不对？我们的视平线啊。OK，there's is two vanishing point here and so 这两个物体是在我们的视平线的上面和下面的，对不对？也就是我们眼睛朝前看 we just say go straight, and this object is on the top of our eye level, and this one is on the bottom of eye level， 一个在上面，一个在下面，对不对？那么它们这两个物体的透视规律都是要消失到我们视平线上这两个消失点的。你看看它这个线连接的这个方法了没有？看到了吗？啊，就是通过这一个棱开始，我们哪怕这个物体我们在画的时候，我们先从这个棱开始画，只要我们选择了这个棱，画出这一个竖线来啊，a vertical line, we should just draw a vertical line first, and then from these two end of the vertical line, and we can go to connect these two points, these two dots together, and connect every point together. It looks like the lines looks like this. 就是我们这样子去连的话，我们就可以看到所有的线都会形成啊。那么当我们在任何视角的时候，我们把这个物体摆在任何视角的时候，那它的透视规律就是这样子的啊。它是有角度的，对不对？There are many different angles, but it's all 2-point perspective 啊，它们都是两点透视。So do you say the red line? Red line. See here. So just only the red line is present edges, right? Its edges face to us, not a side, not a full side face us. OK， 所以这个就很明显，就是我们的需要这个红的一个边缘线，我们强调出来啊，就是它有一个边是冲着我们的，其他的两个面啊没有正面冲着我们啊，不是正面冲着我们，它是斜的，对不对？但是这个边是冲着我们的，其他的面都是斜的啊，都是斜的啊。那么不管你是仰视还是俯视还是平视啊，那么我们都可以根据这个边的出现，我们把它的这个透视呢画准确啊，画准确。This is concept. It is a rules for us to draw a two-point perspective to help us to observe and confirm we can draw a correct two-point perspective. 这都是帮助我们去确认啊，我们去画的或者是确认的一些方法，也是检查的一个方法啊。当我们去画了这么一个物体以后，我们用两点透视画物体以后，画完以后，我们去检查，我们会发现它所有的消失点，这些点截线，你看它都应该是消失的这个 各自的消失点上去的。那左边的就消失到左边的消失点，右边的就消失到右边的消失点，对不对？当不管是仰视还是俯视啊，消失点消失完以后，再去把这些线连接起来，我们就形成了正确的这个消失点的两点透视的一个画法，这个物体就画准确了啊。包括我们画一些场景图啊，when we draw some animation signs, we just use this way 啊，或者是我们去画一些风景画的时候，对吧？landscape view 啊，when we draw some painting some landscape, we just use this way 好吧？这个就是我们的绘画一个方法啊。好，那么接下来呢，我们也可以看一下啊，这都是一些应用的场景，在我们画建筑效果图的时候啊，我们画建筑效果图的时候啊，当我们画一些产品图的时候，对不对？当我们画一些产品图，这是在这个产品设计里面啊，我们叫做 products design 啊，这因为画的是结构嘛，we can draw some instruction of this camera 啊，我们都要用到这个，因为我们要画的合乎这个观察的一个逻辑，一个概念，对吧？包括我们画汽车，对不对？我们画汽车的时候啊，这都是非常好的一个表现。It's a very good way to present the vehicles feature 啊。It's very helpful us to present the vehicles volume 啊，我们去表现这个车的体积感就特别好用，比我们画一个一点透视正冲着它，要画的更全面、更完整，对不对？更有表现力啊。这个是我们画人的时候，我们画人物的时候也是要遵循任何事物啊。当我们用两点透视画的时候，这是个最普遍，is very best popular drawing way in or when we painting 啊，所以这是个最基本的一个最流行的最好的一个表现物体的方式，is basic drawing way 啊，所以大多数我们的绘画都会画这种侧面，对吧？带一个角度侧面的，画正面的不太多，大部分画的不管是画什么，我们都是要用这种有角度的，只要有这种角度的，就是两点透视啊，这种正常的角度啊，都是两点透视，包括我们画人的时候，我们回头到了高级班的时候，我们会画人像。When we drawing some portrait, we'll also use this. It's a very basic concept of it. 好，
In this Circle Line Art School video, start by drawing a horizontal line across your page towards the top, and then we can draw a vanishing point on the left and a vanishing point on the right at the far ends of the horizontal line. The next step is to draw a vertical line towards the left of the center of your page and below the horizontal line, and this will be the front corner leg of the table that we're drawing. And then we can draw the receding lines going to the left vanishing point, one at the top and one at the bottom of the vertical line, as they are parallel lines that are receding in perspective, and therefore they'll look like they meet at the vanishing point. Next, we can draw two more receding lines going to the right vanishing point, one at the top of the vertical line and then one at the base of the vertical line. You could use a ruler for these lines or just do them freehand. Next, we want to have a line on the left which is vertical and parallel to the upright line that we originally drew, and that will be where the table finishes on the left hand side. And then from the top of that line we can draw a receding line to the right vanishing point. Then we can draw another vertical line, but this time on the right hand side to show where the table finishes on the right. And then we can use our vanishing point on the left this time to draw the edge of the table that goes to the left vanishing point. You might want to darken some of the lines as you go along of the actual table. Next, as we've got the surface of the table in 2-point perspective, then we can add a thickness to it by having a line go to the left vanishing point and then a line going to the right vanishing point, and that will create a thickness to the top of the table. Next, we can draw the thickness of the legs of the table. Start on the one on the right, and then the table leg in the middle. And then the table leg on the left. Next, we can use the front table leg in the middle and draw a guideline from its base on the left to the right vanishing point, and then another guideline on its base on the right, but this time to the left vanishing point. And this shows the shape of the base of the table leg. So using the left-hand vanishing point, we can draw another line from the table leg on the right to left vanishing point, and then another line from the table leg on the left to the right vanishing point. So we're slowly plotting out the base shape of all of the table legs. On the table leg on the left, we can draw another line to the right vanishing point from the other vertical, the vertical on the left-hand side of the left table leg. And then on the table leg on the right, we can draw another line going to the left vanishing point, but this time from the vertical line on the right of the right table leg. Then we can draw the vertical line of the table leg going up on the right. So that's one table leg done on the right. We've already got the central table leg, and now we can add another vertical line on the left. So now we have 3 table legs. The 4th table leg, we've plotted where that goes. Where these lines cross, we draw a vertical line, and then 2 lines following the guidelines for the base, and then a vertical line on the left, and a vertical line on the right. Next, you might like to add a few things to the table. I think for my table, I'm going to add a laptop. So the laptop will be parallel to the edges of the table, and because it's a parallel shape with receding lines, we can use the same vanishing points on the left and the right that we used for the table. So once you've perhaps placed a laptop, we could draw the screen of the laptop at the back, and then maybe a little bit of shading. So for this drawing, I'm using a 4B pencil, little indication of where the keyboard goes. And with the side of the pencil, we could start with a dark shade and then just vary the pressure to get it dark and light and dark. So it has a sort of semi-reflective quality to it. Then for the base of the laptop, we could just make that darker, and that will create a thickness to it too. Next on my desk, I have a pencil pot with pens and pencils in it. So we could just draw a very basic pencil pot, and then draw a few lines just to indicate some pens and pencils. I also have a lamp, an angle poised lamp, so I can draw that. Again, keeping it nice and simple, just a simple shaped lamp. So now we have a basic table in 2-point perspective with a few objects on its surface. We could add some shading. So just using the side of the pencil, I'm going to shade all the shapes of the table which are on the right-hand side. Table legs, and then the thickness of the table too, that can have a shaded area on the right-hand side. So next, we could probably erase some of the perspective lines, the guidelines that we no longer need. Once you've done that, we could add to this drawing by putting it into a corner of a room. To do that, we could draw a line from behind the further back table leg, going straight up, and that would be at the corner of the room. And then we can use the left-hand vanishing point to draw a line to the right, which is behind the table legs. And then we can use the right-hand vanishing point to draw a line on the left, again, which is behind the table legs. I think I'll make this left-hand line stop about there, and then add a vertical line. So in 2-point perspective, remember, all vertical lines stay vertical, they don't get distorted at all. So I just work out how to draw a vertical line going up here. Something like that, so that'll do. Then we can use the vanishing point on the left to make a corner of the room. And then we can add another vertical line. And often, I guess, when I'm drawing vertical lines, I look at the other vertical lines in the drawing and try and match them up so that they all work together. Because in drawing, it's really useful not just to draw the bit that you're drawing, but to see how it relates to all the other bits too. And then we can just draw a line going to the left, but using the right vanishing point to get the angle of the line. And now we've got a floor, and for this floor, I use the left-hand vanishing point and draw a series of lines which are parallel to each other and are all receding to the left, a bit like floorboards on the floor. But I think I'll make them into a grid of tiles. Notice how these lines sort of fan out from the vanishing point on the left. So in perspective, there's lots of distortion. We can use the vanishing point on the right to draw another series of lines, which are fanning out from the vanishing point on the right. So if each one of these was in real life a rectangle, you can see how perspective can distort things, but also it creates the illusion of depth in the drawing as well. And then I think I'll just shade in every other one to make a checkered pattern on the floor, just using a soft tone of the 4B pencil. Our lines look like they meet if they were to recede from us. The next step in this drawing is to draw a short vertical line above the horizon line in the middle, near the middle of your page. This will be the corner of the first building block. Next, to draw the sides of this top part of the building, draw 2 lines to the right vanishing point and 2 lines to the left vanishing point for the right hand side and the left hand side of the cuboid. Now we can draw 2 vertical lines between these 2 diagonal lines going to the vanishing points on either side. Next, for the underneath of this cuboid, as we're looking up at it, we can draw a diagonal line from the bottom right vertical line to the vanishing point on the left, and then another line from the bottom left vertical line to the vanishing point on the right. Now we have a cuboid, a box shape that we're looking up at. Next, we can repeat this process of drawing a cuboid in 2-point perspective, but with a new vertical line, a new corner line of the cuboid, and this time to the left, slightly to the left of the first vertical line that we drew. Again, use the 2 vanishing points to find the side angles of this building block, which is smaller than the first building block that we drew at the top. This new cuboid has the horizon line going through it, which means that we're looking up at it at the top part of the cuboid, the block, but we're looking down at it at the bottom part of the cuboid, because anything below the horizon line we're looking down at. Anything on the horizon line we're looking straight at. So above the horizon line we're looking up, below the horizon line we're looking down, and if we're looking straight to the horizon line, our eyes are looking straight ahead. Now we can repeat a new block again, starting this time with a vertical line to the right of our first vertical line that we drew in this drawing. For this building, I want to make the bottom block much bigger than the top block, so it's not top heavy. So I'll choose to draw the vertical lines to show where the edge of this block happen on the left and the right. I'll choose these lines far away from us so that they are nearer the vanishing points, and that will make a bigger cuboid. Next, we could draw a rectangle in perspective on the top cuboid, using our vanishing point on the left. And then by using the vanishing point on the right, we can give it a little bit of depth as well. So it makes it look like an insert. You could add more 3D structures to your building using the same process, the same 2-point perspective, so that they work, so that they look 3D. Make sure that all the vertical lines that you add stay vertical to each other, and all of the diagonal lines, as long as they're parallel shapes, need to go either to the left or the right vanishing point, depending if they're going towards the left or towards the right. So for example, the sides of a cuboid that are going away from us will go towards the vanishing point. Because they are parallel, the sides of a cuboid are parallel, and they'll be going to the left. If they're going in that direction, they'll be going to the left vanishing point, and if they're going to the right direction, they'll be going to the right vanishing point. And then if we have several cuboids all together, if all of the cuboids are parallel to each other, we just use the 2 vanishing points. Next, in the foreground, we can add some steps. Draw a line from the right vanishing point all the way across to the left. Then, where it crosses the baseline of the base cuboid, draw a vertical line on the left-hand surface of the base cuboid. Now we can draw another vertical line nearby. We can use the left vanishing point to mark out the angle of the steps, and then one more line from the right vanishing point to make a rectangular base for our steps in 2-point perspective in the foreground. We can now draw another line halfway up the 2 vertical lines that we've just drawn, this time going towards the left vanishing point. And then we can draw a new diagonal line to show the angle of the steps. Just choose the angle that you wish. We could extend this new diagonal line up through the surface of the base of the cuboid if you want, and then draw another rectangle at the top surface of this cuboid in 2-point perspective. Once you have that in place, or something similar, so that you've got a shape to place the steps and a diagonal on which to draw them. Just divide the sloping line, this diagonal line, into a series of evenly spaced steps, and all of these lines will be going away from us in 2-point perspective. They're only going in one direction, so we're going to use the left-hand vanishing point for all of them. When the steps are in place, we can add the risers of the steps, of the vertical lines of the steps, and that creates a sort of zigzag shape on the edges of steps. And then you should have some simple steps going up to our building. Now these diagonal lines won't be going to the left, they'll be going towards the right vanishing point because they're going in that direction. I think I'll extend some of the lines at the corners in this drawing so it looks more like a sketch. You could just add some simple shading to your drawing using just 2 tonal values. For this drawing I'm using a 4B pencil. You could make a dark tonal value for the parts we're looking up at, and then maybe a mid-tone for all the parts of the building which are on the right. You could add some diagonal shading, graded shading, sort of going from dark to light to dark to light, for the windows, and maybe some reflective shading on the ground, just repeating some of the shapes above at a softer tonal value lower down to make it look a bit like a reflection.
画纸上，这是上次我们的一点透视的画法，对不对？我们说的是一个面，对不对？好，我们现在在这个位置，我们再画一下2点透视。大家都拿出纸和笔好吗？拿出纸和笔啊。首先什么 ？horizontal line， 对不对？我们要有一个 horizontal line， 这是我们画任何透视的时候都需要永远记住的啊。可能你以后在画的时候不需要画一个真正的线，但是我们要知道这里有一条线 ，you can imagine it，OK， can imagine it。Sorry， 我这个找一支别的笔。好，然后完了以后呢，我们去画2个什么？2个 dot， 对吧？这2个 dot 是什么？就是 vanishing point， 对不对？我们现在有2个消失点了，对不对？完了以后呢，再去干什么呢？我们去找出这个物体的什么面还是边啊？1点透视才是面，2点透视是一个边，对不对？1点透视在这儿是一个面，我们要画一个面出来，对不对？而到2点透视是什么？我们只要有一个边就可以了，有一个 edge 就可以了，对不对？有一个 edge 就可以了。然后呢，这个 edge 我们从它的这个两个顶点方面，从2个顶点去连我们的 vanishing point， 对不对？这个时候呢，如果同学们你们如果是画不了这么直的线，那么老师说了，你可以用尺子去把这个2个线啊，2个点把它连好以后，我们去拿这个，再用尺子去把它画出来，也可以的，没问题啊。我们在掌握概念的时候，我们是可以这样做的啊，老师是允许你们这样做的啊。好，那么这2个，因为它有2个消失点，是我们都要去照顾到呀，对不对？所以这边连完了，我们要再连着嘛，这边，对吧？再连这边，啊，再连这边。Sometimes we can't draw a straight line once successful. You can repeat it many times. It's okay. Okay. But remember, don't use very heavy. You use very heavy lines. Use very dark lines to draw it. You can draw it lightly. Okay, and repeat it when you confirm it's correct, and then you can draw it heavier. You can draw darkness line to confirm your you finish this line， 好吧？你就是用轻一点的线先去画，完了以后不准你就反复画几次，最后确认那条你最准的那条线，用深色的线再把它确认好，表示你确认这个线了，好吧？然后这两边这个线连好以后，是不是就出现了2个面呀？对不对 ？When you connect these 2 points, connect the lines, these two lines, then here shows a side， 是不是就出现了一个边呀？一个面啊，对不对？出现了一个面 ，sorry， 出现了一个面，是不是 ？In this side, use vertical lines。为什么？因为2点透视的时候，是不是只有垂线 是跟我们的画面是一致的，是平行的。这个垂线跟我们的纸边是一样的，对不对？是平行的，跟我们的纸面是平行的，所以它平行于我们的画面，可以理解吧？啊，所以这个线一定是垂线，跟它是垂直的，也是跟它平行的，跟我们最原始的这个垂线是所有的垂线，记住 all the vertical lines parallel， 所以所有的垂线都是平行的，好吧？记住这一点啊，这个下次我要去提问你们的啊。然后把这两条线完了以后，这两个面是不是就出来了？那么因为我们是俯视的啊 ，we can see it from the top of the top point, the top views. So here at another side, we need to show it， 对不对？那么这个就很简单了。同样的，这个点，这条线的两个点，在这边消失线已经有了，对不对？已经连过了，对不对？那么我们就直接去连这边，直接连这边。同样这边的线已经有了，它两边都要照顾到我们，对不对？所以我们就去连这边。啊，连直线的时候，一个方法就是你看准了这个点和这个点，一定要先看一下啊，看准了这个点和这个点以后，然后毫不犹豫的去把它俩连起来就可以了，好吧？底下这个点我们也去连啊，我们也去连。同学们在上面前面的作业的时候呢，这个地方可能有的画了，把它擦掉了，以后不需要擦掉，保留这个线就可以。You can keep the original lines, guiding lines here. You keep it, and I can say you draw it. I will know you understand it. 好吧，我就知道你理解了这个，你理解了这个东西的画法了。而且画完这个以后呢，你看这个点，这个下面画完了以后，这边也画出来。对吧？这边也画出来啊。老师也不是都是一笔画出来，老师可能也要重复一下，都有可能犯错误的啊，这个不是问题啊，不是不允许犯错误啊。然后这两点连出来以后，我们把这两个点是不是就可以再相连一下？是不是这个里面的情况我们就也都看出来了呀？是吧？整个盒子就是完全像一个透明的玻璃盒子一样，我们全部都看到了，对不对？对吧？啊，所以呢，这个时候，那我们就要强调的是什么？我们强调的是什么？是这个点啊。如果说一点透视，我们强调的是这个面的话，那么我们在两点透视里面，我们强调的是这个边缘啊，这个 edges，这个 edge 啊，所有的物体，所有的其他的形，都是从这个边出发画出来的，对吧？很清楚啊。好，那么今天我也带你们演示了画这么一个两点透视这么一个立方体啊，这个是怎么画的啊？所以回家的作业嘛，我们也是要画这个，但是不是仅仅画一个而已啊。我会下课以后我会晚一点，我会布置作业给大家，好吧？包括前面咱们画的这个建筑物的这个啊，前面那个老师做的那个视频的那个画法，那么如果有能力的同学，我们也可以回去画一下，好吧？好，那今天呢，我们讲两点透视就讲到这里啊。大家回去再通过绘画的时候再重新去理解一下，然后记住几个关键点，是吧？我们以前的两个关键词 vanishing point and horizontal line， 对吧？And now we should remember a vertical line。我们要记住 vertical line， 为什么 vertical line 呢？因为所有的 vertical line 都是平行的，parallel all the vertical line。啊，在两点透视里面，所有的垂直线都是平行的，记住这是一点是不会变的。